in reviewing this, I mean, we've been hitting it every week as we go through these studies, but in summing up these 7 chapters, I hope you realize how much provision was given for the work of the tabernacle priests. The whole system was designed to provide them with what they needed to survive from the work that they were doing. A few verses here to further on this point. Deuteronomy 25:4 says, "Do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain." Just a quick side little tangent here that I want to hit on in this long study as we're going through Leviticus, but I want to give it just a quick element because it comes up in our text. Should you pay someone for doing ministry? You know, there's people who believe, well, you shouldn't pay a person who's working in ministry because it is the blessing of doing the work that is their reward. And yes, there is reward in doing the work, but that's not biblical. The Bible makes it clear that we who are working in the church are to make a living off of it or to benefit from it. Now, there's sliding scales. If you are working full-time and you are volunteering in the parking lot ministry to help park cars, or you're a greeter, or you play on the worship team, your sacrifice and what you give to God might be that time that you invest into that. And in that situation, it might not be appropriate for you to be compensated for that because you have a job. But that's for you to pray on and see what God tells you. Now, if you're working full-time in ministry, it's okay to receive an income from your work. I have to be honest. I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years now, and that was a hard thing for me to decide and to realize that it's okay to earn money from the work that I'm doing. And it took a long time for me to be willing to actually receive an income from the work. But that is biblical, and there's precedence for it. We see Paul, there was a period of time where he was a tent maker, and there was also a period of time at which he was provided for. And so it depends on the ministry, it depends on the situation. That's between the person who's doing the work and God. But for the person who is receiving the benefit, for the congregant who's going to the church, or for the person who is receiving benefits of any ministry, it's our responsibility to bless the person who is doing the work. Further verses, someone might say, well, Deuteronomy 25:4 is part of the law. We're no longer under the law, so we don't have to do that. That's true. But the New Testament, what does the New Testament say? Luke 10:7, the worker deserves his wages. 1 Timothy 5:18 quotes Deuteronomy 25:4, do not muzzle an ox while it's treading out the grain. 1 Corinthians 9:9 quotes Deuteronomy 25:4, do not muzzle an ox while it's treading out its grain. For those that don't often see ox treading out the grain, what that visual is that you would have a grinding stone that would be a big circular stone, a wheel made out of stone, and there would be a pivot point right in the middle, piece of wood that would go out, and on the end of it, you would put your ox, and the ox would be yoked to this, and they would be pushed, incentivized to move forward. That would then have this big stone would roll, and as it would go out, you'd put your grain to be processed, to be treaded out, to be the hulls broken. And occasionally, some pieces of the usable grain would fall in front of the ox, and the ox would go down to eat it. And the idea is that the ox can be sustained off the work he's doing. Don't muzzle an ox. Don't prevent the ox from benefiting from the work and sustaining him. That's the idea. So another verse for you, Malachi 3:10. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. We are called to tithe 10%, to give 10% to our church that we attend, to bless the people who work there and to ensure it keeps going. But also, and more importantly than that, God doesn't need your money, but when you give your first fruits, which is also biblical precedence in the New Testament as well as Old, to make a sacrifice of your first fruits, the first things that come in, your money that you earn, that you've been blessed with, giving 10% off the top, going directly to your church, that shows your value of what God has given you. It's all God's anyway, so give him 10% as a thank you. From the very beginning, the first fruits, this is yours, Lord. Then the rest, manage and be a good steward of. That's where the idea of tithe came in. Then additionally, for those ministries and those things that you benefit from or you care strongly about, there's so many of them. You have birth centers. Alpha Care Pregnancy Center is one that's local here. You have ministries such as Fellowship of Christian Athletes. There's so many ministries that are out there, so many schools that are nonprofits, so many ministries such as Iron Sheep Ministries, that is a non-for-profit, that live off of donations from the people who either benefit from or want to support them. So selfishly, I do declare, bless those that bless you that are doing the Lord's work. Okay, done with that tangent. Final two verses.